So 4.4 part 2, we're continuing to factor, so same stuff that we did yesterday, but now we're going to have a greatest common factor. So a common factor of the terms that can be factored out of the expression is what we're going to take out. So anything that's in common in all of our terms is what we take out. A common factor of the coefficient and of this says exponent, but it should be variable. So we have to look and see what's common in all of our coefficients and what's common in all of our variables. So the lowest amount of variables, or the lowest variable, is what gets taken out. So the least amount of variables that each thing has in common. So we're taking out the coefficient, we're going to take out a number, and we're taking out a variable. Two things. So we need to see, looking at the coefficients, what is our greatest common factor between 6 and 9? What number goes into both 6 and 9? 3. So I can divide both of these by 3. And then what's my least amount of variables? If I have 2 variables in the first one, 2 x's, and I have 1 x here, what's my least amount of x's that both of these have? 1. So I'm going to take out a 3 and an x. So my greatest common factor between just the variables, I have 2 x's here, and I have 1 here, because it's x squared, and I have 1x. So I'm going to take out an x, because that's what they both have in common. So it's always the smallest variable is what gets taken out, what they all have in common. So we're taking out a 3x because that's our greatest common factor. And whatever we take out gets divided by both things that we have. So what's 6 divided by 3? 2. And then what's x squared divided by x? If I have 2 x's and I take 1 away, how many am I left with? 1. So it would be 2x. And then what's 9 divided by 3? 3. And then if I have 1x and I take away 1, how many x's am I left with here? None. So this would be our answer.
That's all we do?
I don't get it. All right, example 2. So we have 7 and 21. What's my greatest common factor between 7 and 21? 7. So I'm going to take out a 7 from both of them. And then if I have 2 x's in my first term and none in the second, what's my greatest common factor? How many x's do they both have in common?
0.
None. So I can't take out any x's. So if I divide both of these by 7, what's 7 divided by 7? 1. So then what am I left with? Just x squared. And what's negative 21 divided by 7? Negative 3. So that's my answer. My greatest common factor is 7, so 7 is all that I can take out, and that just stays on the outside. What is my greatest common factor just looking at the numbers? 9. So I can take out a 9 from all of these. Do I have a greatest common factor with the x's? If I have 2 x's, 1 x, and no x's, I can't take out any x's. So I'm only taking out 9. So what's 9x squared divided by 9?
X squared.
Just x squared. So the 9's just cancel, so you're just left with x squared. What's 9x divided by 9? X. So this would be plus x. Then what's negative 18 divided by 9? Negative 2.
And that's it.
Not yet. So this looks like what we did yesterday. So we have to factor this. So same thing we did yesterday. What are 2 factors of negative 2 that add to 1?
2.
Awesome. 2 and negative 1. Because 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. and 2 minus 1 would be positive 1. So same thing I did yesterday. I need my 2 sets of parentheses. What would go in my parentheses? X plus 2 and x minus 1. And then I took out the 9, so I just have to remember to write that in my answer. So whatever you take out, that greatest common factor that you take out, you have to write that in your answer. So I have 2, negative 6, and 8. What's my greatest common factor here? 2. So I'm going to take out a 2. Do I have any x's in common in between all 3? No, so I can't take out any x's. So I'm only taking out a 2. What's 2x squared divided by 2? Just x squared. What's negative 6x divided by 2? Negative 3x. And then what's 8 divided by 2? 4. Am I done? No. Can I factor this more? What are 2 factors of 4 that add to negative 3?
Negative 3 and no. Negative 4 and negative 1.
Negative 4 and negative 1. What's negative 4 minus 1?
That's
Negative 5.
Negative 4 and positive 1?
Because, so let's try negative 4, negative 1 is positive 4, right? But negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5, which doesn't work. If we tried negative 4 and positive 1, what's negative 4 times positive 1? Negative 4, so that wouldn't work either. So I kind of messed up the question, but it's fine. So our answer would be, since we can't factor it, it's just 2 times x squared minus 3x plus 4. We can't factor it from here. So that's just our answer. All right, example 5. Looking at the coefficient, so the number, what can I take out from 10 and 5? What's my greatest common factor? 5. And then do I have any x's in common?
Yes.
Yep, so I have x squared and x. So what am I going to take out?
The x.
An x. So I'm taking out a 5x. And then we can divide. So what's 10 divided by 5? 2. If I have 2 x's on top and I take 1 away, how many x's am I left with? 1. And then what's 5 divided by 5? 1. And then if I have an x and take 1 away, how many x's am I left with? None. So my answer would just be 5x times 2x plus 1. Can I factor this anymore?
No.
No, because I don't have a trinomial on the inside. All right, last one, example 6. So I have 4, 16, and 12. What's my greatest common factor that I could take out? 4. Do I have any x's in common that I could take out? No. So I'm only taking out 4. What's 4x squared divided by 4? 4x squared divided by 4.
X squared.
Just x squared. What's 16x divided by 4?
4x.
4x. And then what's 12 divided by 4? 3. Can I factor this?
Yes.
What are 2 factors of 3 that add to 4?
3
3 and
and 1.
1. So how would I write my answer?
X plus 3. X plus 1.
X plus 3, x plus 1, but what am I missing? The 4 on the outside. So because I took out that greatest common factor of 4, I have to make sure I put it in my answer. Any questions? So let's look at 11. So looking at my coefficients, what do I have in common between 3, 15, and 12? 3. So I'm going to take out a 3 from all of them. So it goes on the outside. And then what's my least amount of v's that they all have in common? 2. So I'm going to take out 2 v's. So what's 3 divided by 3? 1. And then if I have 4 v's and I take away 2, how many am I left with? So v squared. What's negative 15 divided by 3? Negative 5. And then if I have 3 v's and I take away 2, how many v's am I left with? 1. What's 12 divided by 3? 4. And if I have 2 v's and I take away 2, how many am I left with? None. Now let's see, can we factor this anymore? What are 2 factors of 4 that add to negative 5? Negative 4 and negative 1. Perfect. They multiply to positive 4 and add to negative 5. So what goes into my parentheses? So v minus 4 and v minus 1. But Victor, what can I not forget? The 3v squared on the outside. So since I took that out, just make sure you put that in your answer. So my answer is 3v squared times v minus 4 times v minus 1.